Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to be talking about the much talked about film in the past week here. Of course, we are going over M. Night Shyamalan's Trap, starring Josh Hartnett, Ariel Donahue, Salika Night Shyamalan, Haley Mills, and Alison Pill. And this follows a serial killer called The Butcher, played by Josh Hartnett, as he tries to escape this concert venue in which he brings his daughter to see one of her favorite pop stars, Lady Raven, as they have set up a trap for him to ensure that he doesn't escape. Now, my track record with M. Night Shyamalan, I'll be honest, I haven't seen any of his horrible movies, right? But I definitely will say that I am a huge fan of The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, which I think are absolute masterpieces in filmmaking. And then it came to Signs, and I think that was when he really started going downhill. Not to say that Signs is a bad movie by any means, but you started to get the very awkward, stilted dialogue that doesn't feel like, you know, what actual humans would say to each other. And I think, you know, he's done a couple things since that are really good. Like Split, I think, is probably the third best film I've seen from him. But obviously, he's made some of the best movies ever made. He's made some of the absolute worst movies ever made. And we aren't going to get into that, because I think if you know anything about M. Night Shyamalan, you know his background and his history with that. So, this one I wasn't really excited to see, I'm going to be honest. I actually wasn't going to see it at all until I started to hear some of my friends absolutely loved it. So I was like, alright, let me check this out. I don't think this is going to be great. I don't even think I'm going to like it. And to my surprise, I actually ended up enjoying this film quite a bit. And I will say, for the first hour of this film, I really thought I wasn't, because you got that piss-poor dialogue that really makes me question if M. Night Shyamalan understands how to talk to human beings. Like, it's one of those things where you're like, how can you sit there and think, yes, this is going to sound good? Like, just come on, man. Just sit down and think to yourself, what would a normal human would say? Because some of the interactions in this movie are so bizarre, and people are saying things to each other that they would never say in the actual flow of a real conversation. And that's always the biggest problem I've had with Shyamalan's movies over the past few years. Of course, those of which I've seen. Glass didn't have that problem, but that movie wasn't good for other reasons, alright? So this certainly is prevalent here, and definitely the biggest glaring weakness in this film. Also, this is kind of implausible, because this movie really relies on characters being stupid to advance the plot. It's very contrived in that manner, and I'm really not a fan of movies that are put together in that way, or it's certainly something I knock off big points for, and this movie is no exception. But I think what makes this movie work, it's such a tightly put together thriller that just is elevated by Shyamalan's excellent direction here. I think this is some of his best work behind the camera from a visual standpoint. And I think it shines through in like every frame of this film. He even has a few split diopters in this, like he's trying to be Hitchcock or something. And this really is a very Hitchcockian film in so many ways, because yet again, it's one of those things where it's like, you know the device he's playing with. You know that this is the killer that you're following. But it's trying to see how he goes about this situation, how he tries to work himself out of it, that makes it so interesting. Like people said before, the bomb under the table. It's sort of the same thing. And I really love what he does in that regard, because even though it is very contrived, there's so many creative ways that Josh Hartnett's character talks his way out of things, and it's very, very much in line with what an actual, you know, psychopathic killer would do. And speaking of Josh Hartnett, I think this is the best I've ever seen him in anything. I'm so happy that I saw this movie just for his performance alone, because yeah, Some of the dialogue in the first half really holds him back, but I truly do believe if he was in service of a better script, like, he is Oscar worthy in this film. Certainly by the end I was just like, holy shit! I'm like, this is Josh Hartnett? Like, this guy absolutely deserves all the praise he's been getting for this performance. And I'm really glad to see him come back, you know, after Oppenheimer and now this. He's really having a bit of a career resurgence. And I really do think if he keeps going at this rate, he could be nominated for an Oscar in the next few years. I really would hope to see that for this guy, because this really is some tremendous work overall, even if the script does hinder him just a little bit. And you could say that for other people in this film as well, in regards to the script kind of limiting what they can do. And of course I have to talk about Salika Knight Shyamalan here, who plays Lady Raven, the pop star who is having this concert and that the film is centered around. Now, I think she is very talented as a musician, as you can tell from every second she's on screen in this film. I think she has a lot of great potential there, and she might have potential as an actress, because I think in some of the emotional scenes there definitely is a lot that she is doing, but I don't think her acting is very good overall. I think there's glimpses of, you know, what could be a great performer in that regard, but I think some of her line delivery is just really not there, and I really think that she needs to probably improve a little bit and be put back in something else. I mean, look, I thought back when I saw Dumbo, I believe in 2018, 2019, I don't even remember and I don't really care, but Nico Parker was in that and I thought she was really bad, and I just saw her in Suncoast that came out this year, which I didn't review, but I loved, and I think she gives one of the best performances I've seen all year. So I certainly do think that could happen for Salika Knight Shyamalan if she keeps doing what she's doing, but I think, yet again, the potential is there for her to really do something with it. But there are a lot of great performers here regardless. It was nice seeing Hayley Mills in this, who's very good even though she isn't used very much. But Alison Pill, who isn't in the movie for a whole lot of it, but really has some amazing, amazing scenes by the end of the narrative, and I think really stands her own against Hartnett in this, who's just, I really can't get over how good he is in this movie. But I think that is why you come to see this film, to see Josh Hartnett absolutely kill, no pun intended, in this role, but also just these amazingly tense sequences that Shyamalan puts together and crafts so beautifully in this film, despite the script showing its weaknesses, and most certainly by the end. I don't think the ending of this film, or in parts, bothered me as much as it did other people, but I think he takes it one step too many by the time you get to the very end of this film, and that's really going to take a lot of people out of the movie, including myself, by the very end. But there also is a great mid-credits stinger that kind of makes up for a lot of the stupid shit that went on in the movie that I thought was absolutely hysterical. So please stick around to the credits. But here's the thing about M. Night. You know, even when he's not operating at his absolute highest degree that he has delivered before, he's always doing something unique and interesting, always something very conceptual, and something that I can appreciate, certainly. And to be honest, I did not expect to be so riveted by this film in certain moments throughout its runtime, especially in the second act. I really was just like on the edge of my seat. And for all those reasons above, I'm going to give Trap a very strong 6 out of 10. It's not a great movie by any means. It certainly could have been, but I'm telling you, that script really, really brings it down. But regardless, there's still so much to appreciate with what he's doing here and what he did end up delivering, as well as Josh Hartnett. Now, you guys let me know what you thought about Trap down in the comments below. Did you love this movie by any means, or did you think it was terrible? Because I can kind of understand feeling either way about it. But yeah, let me know, and of course smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and you want to see more reviews like this. I'm going to be talking about some other movies coming up very soon, hopefully. Still a lot on the horizon that I have to kind of nail down. It's been tougher and tougher to get to the movies lately, so I apologize for my tardiness on this review, as well as the many others that I have done recently. But I assure you, more content is still on the way, and until then, I'll ask you guys to take it easy, and I'll talk to you soon.